How do you actually make an AI film that looks cinematic, that looks actually real, that actually looks like it could come out of Hollywood, a fantasy film, Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings? We're going to talk about that in today's video. So I'm going to show you a short clip from a short film I'm making, and then I'm going to give you some helpful tools and guides on how you can actually go off and create something very similar yourself with the power of AI that is available to all of us in this video. And one thing I just ask of you, if you get value out of this video, please like it. It helps out the algorithm. And let's play the clip, and then I'll give you the formula.
Something's not right. I can feel it. I think we're being followed. I can feel eyes on the back of my head. Don't be silly. Didn't your parents ever tell you ghosts aren't real? It's just me and you alone here. I'm being serious. There's someone else here with us. Boo! It's me, the big bad ghost. Good thing we're nearly there. I just want out of these woods. Did you just hear that? I'm not falling for that again. Run.
So that right there was a short chase scene from a fantasy film I am creating at the moment. And it looked great. I honestly think it all kind of came together. I was very happy with how it came together. And it looked great in terms of realism as well. So one of the big challenges we've had recently is many AI films in the past, before this technology was available, it wasn't good. It looked fake. It looked not real. But now it's looking pretty good. So if we get into some very important things you need to know if you ever want to create something similar to this, first of all, you're always going to have some type of idea. So what is your story about? What is the characters? What's the setting you want it to be filmed in? Because this is obviously going to carry the overall tone and the viewer experience of what you're creating. So for example, in this film, I wanted a chase scene a little bit inspired by Lord of the Rings. So if you've seen Lord of the Rings and the ring wraiths, hunting down Frodo in the first movie, I wanted something a little bit like that as one of the villains in this short film. And I wanted it to be real as well. And as we go through this process, it is important you just understand, what is your idea? Like, what do you want to make? Who's going to be the characters? What is the setting? And then once you have a general idea, you can then go into, say, AI again. If you want to flesh it out in more detail, you could go into a Claude or a ChatGPT to refine some of those, ideas and add some value. But once you're set to go and you know the characters and you have the setting, it's time to actually just create it. We have a few different characters, and I'll be switching between OpenArt in this film and Higgsfield. I have the highest tiers on both of those platforms. And I'll share with you some practical things about working in those platforms as well, and how you can kind of get it set up to work how you like it. But the first thing you're going to need is some type of character. So you can see right here, we have a character. This is the main villain in this short scene. And we just need a character reference sheet for him. So you can see the character reference sheet in the background. You can see the prompt right here. And I find for characters at the moment, the best tools to be using is actually going to be either Nano Banana, the original, the premium model right here. You can see it in OpenArt, or you can also use GPT Image 2.0. So GPT Image 2.0 is really good for human characters. And to prove this to you, if you have a look at this character right here, which was a prompt, it has the exact same prompt going in to create this character. This is a Nano Banana output versus this output right here, which is a GPT 2.0 output. So if we just switch that again, it's the exact same prompt going in, but we're using a different tool that you can use to generate a character. And this guy looks so much more realistic. It looks so much better. And this is an important thing to understand about AI is it's the tools you're using. And then also very importantly, which we'll talk about in the animation stage, but when you go to actually animate right here, your film, you want to be using like really good tools such as Dance, say 2.5, 2.0 has been great as well. By far, these seem to be the best tools for me at the moment at this stage of AI, but always remember AI can change. So the tools, who's the winner, which one's the best, this can change from time to time. And if you do want to stay up to date on my workflow and what tools I'm using, the latest and best ones, you can subscribe to the channel as well, because I'll have more explainer tutorials to teach you some of the latest models to be using to get these realistic effects. Now, having said that, so we have some characters set up right here. What you want to be doing is actually adding them as elements. So if we go to assets box right here and we add characters and world, we want to be adding a reference for this. So you can see right here, we've got some pre-made, pre-populated ones I've already done, but you want to be adding them with unique little @ tags because this is going to help you in your animation phase later on. So you want to stay organized and add them as assets or elements with unique names as well. So if we actually go to show more, you're going to find right here, I've simply called this guy the Purple Rider, and I've called this guy right here Courier 3. We actually had another courier, the other courier in here as well. Now, one of the next things you're going to need to do is set the ambience and the tone and the setting for your film. So you want to be jumping into, again, I find Nano Banana is the best tool to be using this. You want to be creating an image, a setting image for where this is going to be filmed. So if we go create here, we click create image and we can select our models right here. So we're going to have Nano Banana is a great model I find for physical environments. So if you're trying to create like a forest or a desert, or it could be like an icy thing, Nano Banana does a really good job. And the other one to potentially, you could try GPT Image 2.0, but I find at the moment, just for some reason, the settings, the output hasn't been as strong as just your classic Nano Banana. So that is the one I've been using quite a lot recently, Nano Banana, just for environments. And you can see right here, these are the environments we have created. So a very dark road, very dark forest, and this is going to help Dance later on, animate in the type of cinematic tone we want to, create the film to be in. So overcast, but there's a bit of moonlight, and you can see the pine forest on the left and the right. And you can actually see right here, as we were creating this and getting different shots, you can get lots of different things, and it can be a creative choice of the different types of ones you like to work with right here. And we actually used a lot of these shots in the final scene right here. So you can see how dark and ambient it is. This road, this pathway, pretty scary stuff, pretty spooky stuff. I loved it. And you can see Dance doing a great job later on at actually animating this. But you will need to have an environment. And the prompting for this can actually be very simple. So you can just be whatever's in your mind. So for example, to create this road right here in Nano Banana, all we wrote was create me a photorealistic shot of a wide dirt road through a towering pine trees. At nighttime, the road and pine trees look endless. And that was one of the images we used to then go off and create it. But I wanted actually from this to tone it down, just the darkness even a little bit more. And this was one of the outputs we got, right? So that is a really nice output. And from that output, you actually attach that same image again to create, a multiple shot of like a bridge, right? So you can actually see in that short film, we had a bridge scene where, the horses are running across the bridge. There's water flowing underneath it. And we basically created another setting shot for that. So you can see this setting shot right here and another setting shot right here where the Purple Rider comes through over over this bridge and towards the camera. Now, the next thing you want to be doing before you actually get to the animation phase is it can be helpful if you're using a reoccurring setting location to actually set that as an asset within the platform you're using. So for example, here, I've actually labeled this as dark forest right here. So this is dark forest, the road, and it's a reoccurring setting for many shots I'm actually doing in this. So it's worth kind of setting that up. So all again you do here is go to characters and world, and then you click create background, and then you would drop in your photo from Nano Banana or wherever you've created it into that, and then you'd label it as well. And then, you know, the final bit of this is you really just want to have some type of idea about the different types of shots you're going to do. So I generally go off with what's, you know, in my mind. So as part of that screenplay exercise we do at the start, where we have like maybe a bit of a script, a lot of that can help you then pick what type of camera angles you want to shoot with. And I have actually created a free guide if you want to get your hands on this, which can help you in trying to convey, you know, your movie in a good way. So remember, any type of movie you watch or any type of TV show, they're always showing you different camera angles to basically, even though you might not be conscious of it, to basically like take in the whole story. So for example, we do have like an establishing shot at the very beginning, but you can do these other types of shots like extreme wide angle, you can do low angle, you can do high angle close up, and you can do tracking shots, low level tracking shots as well, Dutch angle and point of view shots as well. And you can pick up this free camera angle guide in my school community I am building out as well. So that can be very helpful. This was an action chase, but with a prelude of a bit of terror right here to kind of frame it. And each time we're picking a different thing. So you can see right here, this shot right here, this is extreme close up with a special type of like Jaws zoom we've done on this one that they did in the Jaws movie to show like extreme panic and fear and really show the guy's face. And then we kind of cut back to this one. This one here looks a little bit just not as good quality, but the reason that has actually occurred is because you might not even notice it. I actually did a reference photo of his face to get that exact shot because I really wanted that terrified look. And then if we have a look right here, he says run. And then you just have like tracking wide angle shots as well to just show the momentum. Great tracking side profile shot of the purple rider as he goes. And this is another, you know, it's just a great shot, right? Two horses getting chased by the purple rider. Again, it's all coming down to camera angles, right? So camera angles is really bringing this alive to, you know, help the viewer really experience, you know, the terror of the chase these guys are against. And right here, Purple Rider whips out a bow. And what's interesting about this is I actually let Seed Dance naturally generate the bow. I didn't actually create a prop character sheet for this. And Seed Dance did a great job with that prompt right here. But you can just see how important the camera angles are when it comes to, you know, explaining the message that's going on in your short film and what Seed Dance can actually do. And again, remember we created that bridge setting. The guys are basically running across this right now. And then we cut again to a different angle, Purple Rider coming across the exact same bridge that we've already created. And it brings it, you know, pretty much to life. And it ends with this this crazy awesome shot of him just doing this slow motion bow with arrow going through the air, which is again phenomenal. And this is all done with references again to what we've already set up with our original photos. So we have the settings, we have the characters, and then we get to prompting as well. And I do think now, since we're in Seed Dance 2.5, it is going to be important to use the 2.5 prompting guidelines, and you can find them. I've actually posted them within my school community, and you can get them for free. I've posted a link there. But if you're using, say, a chat GPT or a Claude to kind of help you with your prompting, in structuring your prompts, you want to be using those prompting techniques as well. And as you can see, look, this was a shot we used from the film and an example prompt. And we have all our references and assets ready to go. So Courier 3, we got Courier 4. We actually generated character sheets for the horses. I forgot to mention that. So the horses are actually unique characters too. Dark forest and, you know, starting scene, action timeline, camera angle and performance as well, and physics and secondary motion. And that's generally what can create you some just fantastic AI realism. But remember, the big picture I want to get through to you in this video is it will be a process. You got to create the settings, you got to create the characters, you got to create the character reference sheets, and then ultimately your whole thing has to kind of flow and work if you want to really kind of bring it home. And you just understand, we're making this in AI, and just how much work would go into an actual film where you actually have to hire these actors and the horses and have the crew on scene. But we can basically speed run these films now, and the realism is so good. And everything I showed you in this film is 480p, so I'm not doing 1K. I could potentially later on go through all these shots and generate them in 1K or 4K if I really wanted to. And I can tell you, it would be amazing. Like it would be beautiful. And the secret sauce as well for you guys sticking around to the end of the video is, when you create a good scene, sometimes it can feel a little bit naked, if you know what I mean. And what I mean by that, you might not what I mean by that, but I'll explain. And you have to add some type of music as well. So quite often, if you have a cinematic that's feeling a bit bare, it's probably because you haven't made the music. And one tool I use to make the music, which turned out perfectly, is going to be, Suno AI right here. And I've actually been prompting away in this for different parts of the movie where I want to, enhance the audio. And it's a great thing. But you can basically create, your own types of music to fit different scenes, and you can just basically prompt away and create very good stuff. So you can put in here like dark chase cinematic music to create some of the other types of effects you want. You can see some of the other prompts I've been putting in right here, but that can be your final touch for your movie to kind of make it all come alive and make it feel like a real Hollywood film. And you'll see it in the end output of, even if you go back and you rewatch Lord of the Rings, they're doing everything we kind of spoke about in this video to a lot of degrees. So music will carry mini scenes, especially action scenes. So if you play an action scene without the music, it just feels a bit different. So just remember that when you're going to edit it. And you can actually see right here in DaVinci Resolve, this is where we're kind of bringing it all together. And I have to say, look, the realism, it's really getting real now. So the acting in the short snippet, but it is getting amazingly real. So it is pretty exciting time to be working in this field right there. So if you guys got value out of this video, guys, like the video, get yourself some helpful guides. In the future, I might have like a full course, like a very detailed course for you guys who really want to make this and do like every step, one step at a time, and go through that journey of transforming your skills into actually getting it all together. But hopefully this, free overview has helped you in figuring out the process to some degree. But that's a very high level look at the process I use, and I hope you got value out of it. If you did like the video, you'll find links to both OpenArt and Higgsfield in the description of this video, as well as links. I'll drop a link to Suno. I'll drop a link to my school community as well. But I appreciate you watching. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.